Alright, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Zeke. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a businessman and a multimillionaire entrepreneur. You guys are just a few years early, so you haven't get to see that part of my life. But in today's video, we're going to be going over how to escape the twilight zone of the DMV. And yes, I know that may sound crazy, but it is true. So before we even start, I'm going to put this out there. The DMV is not there to help you at all whatsoever. And it may sound crazy, but the DMV is there to hurt you and get their check instead of help you. And they would rather send you back and forth repetitively instead of helping you get done 1, 2, 3, so that way you don't have to go back again. But lucky for you, that's where I come and play, and that's why I'm here to make this video, so that way you guys don't have to go through the same mistakes that I did, which I see that the DMV made, and be able to successfully get your license and get going with your life. So in today's video, we're going to be going through everything step by step, getting your license, then your driver's license ID, and then after that, in the next video, we'll go into, putting your car under your name, insurance, transfer titles, plates, etc. and whatnot. So in today's video, we're going to start off with the basics, which is getting your license. Now, I know you guys are saying it's 2025, who doesn't have their license? A lot of people don't, which is why I'm here to help, because I know it can be difficult, because I went through it, and even though I'm 17 years old, I still got a lot to learn, and I like to help people along the way. So that way, why not make the world a better place? You know what I mean? So let's get started. So now, let's say you're anywhere from 16 to 25 years old and you're trying to work on getting your license, right? Now, for the 16-year-olds, you guys are in high school, probably a freshman or a sophomore. And for the adults, maybe you guys just haven't got the time to do it. You guys have been scared to drive, or maybe you haven't had the opportunity just because of how your life is going. And now you want to try and get your license, right? Now, the first thing that you need to know with getting your license, you need to get your permit first. And this is called a learner's permit. Now, for this, you have to be 16 years old. You cannot be 15. So if you're 15, you guys got to wait another year or a few more months, and then you guys can come back. Or you guys can just watch the video, so that way you're prepared ahead of time and you know what to do. Alright? So now, in this video, I know a lot of people don't like this, but it's beneficial for everyone to do this. We're going to get the hard part first before we get through the easy part. So the hard part is going to be learning the rules of the road. For this, you're going to want to have to take a 6-hour knowledge class. And then after, you'll get into the written exam, which we'll get into later, but it's going to be the 6-hour knowledge class. Now, some of you guys have parents which teach you the rules of the road, but it's best that you go and take a sit-down class where they show you visual examples of what can happen on the road, the different signs, what they mean, etc., whatnot. Now, if you're still in high school, I would say go down to your guidance office or ask your physical ed teacher if you guys have driver's ed classes that you can enroll in. Now, usually they are mandatory for some schools, just like mine, it was mandatory. And then you can go ahead and do your sit down and take your knowledge class for the rules of the road, right? Now, luckily for me, my school did provide it for me. If not, you can go online and search them up and it should pop up. It should be a 6-hour sit down class that you can do. You'll just call them and be like, hey, I wanted to do my 6 hours before my written test. Prior to my written test, don't do your 6 hours for your driving, because you don't know the rules of the road, and we don't need any more accidents, especially in the state of New Jersey. We don't need people killing people, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and say, yeah, I need it for my knowledge, the rules of the road, see if they have it. And yeah, so luckily for me, and if you're still in high school and they do have the class, they let you take it within the school, right? So now what you're gonna want to go ahead and do is, well, this was given to me, right? But usually the schools do provide it for you, or if not, you can buy it online. You're gonna go and purchase the state motor vehicle driver manual for your specific state. So for example, right here, don't mind this book, it's been in my bag for years. This is the NJMVC driver manual for the state of New Jersey, right? Most of them will look like this, not beaten up like this, but it will look like this, and it will have just basic things, what to do, who gets to ride away when turning, etc. Look out for trucks, blind spots, just basic simple things, right? So you're going to want to go ahead and study this. Now, If you guys don't have this and you need a driver manual guide, I do have a link below that you guys can purchase, and it is very simple and easy to access. So that way you guys can go ahead and learn it, and it is universal, so it's kind of a mix of everything. Now keep in mind each state is different, so there will be certain things that you have to research on your own, okay? So what you're going to want to go ahead and do is study the driver manual. And of course, even if you don't want to purchase mine online, you can go ahead and do your own research and just find some driver manuals online. I'm pretty sure you can find them anywhere, or your grandparents might have it, parents might have it, guardians, friends. Just a driver manual that you can read and learn. And make sure you understand this, because this is what you're going to need before you head to the DMV. Just this knowledge. This will have to be in your head, okay? And with this, you could go online to some websites that can help you study. Now, everything I say in this video, I will have the link to in the description. Now, everything I say in this video, I will have the link to it in the description down below, so you guys can access it quick and easily. So let's get right into the next step. Now, once you finish this, the driver's manual, right? You got all this knowledge in your head. You know when to stop, how much feet you park from a fire hydrant, how slow you go in the school zone, etc. Once you got all that knowledge in your head, right? Now this is the part where we get to heading to the DMV. But before that, we need to do a few things. Now, this is the one part where everybody gets stuck and confused. You need your 6 points before you go to the DMV. And no, I'm not talking about sports, I'm not talking about basketball, I'm not talking about football. These 6 points are legal documents, okay? So before you get your driver's license within any state that you are in, you have to prove who you are first, and legally, not just be like, oh, I'm so and so, and just be like, yeah, you just gotta believe me. No, you have to legally prove it with actual documents. And because of this, the DMV uses a system called a 6-point ID. This means you need to bring 6-point ID documents that add up to your identity and prove who you are legally as a person. So basically, it just proves your legal presence and where you currently live, in simple terms. So now there are different levels to the 6 points, and what I mean by this is just think of it as stacking on top of each other like a combo. Some documents are worth 4 points, some documents are worth 3 points, some documents are worth 2, and some are worth 1 point. So we're gonna go over all the different ones, and I'm gonna show you guys the best 6-point combo that you can easily access to bring to you with the DMV. So we're going to go over the big documents first. Your birth certificate, which should be under your mom's bed or under grandma's bed. And then you have your US passport. Now, let's say you have no birth certificate, no US passport, or even no social security card. Now, you can go to your local county office and request for a birth certificate. Usually, you'll need your parent and their information, and they will need. Now, usually, if you don't have a birth certificate, you can go to your local county office, and you will need a parent or guardian with you, and they will need their legal identification as well to get one for yourself. And if your social security was lost or stolen, you can go to a social security office and they will usually provide you one. Same thing with before, you probably will need your parents' information or just them being present with their legal documents in order to access yours. So now I'm going to give you guys a 6-point combo, which is so simple and easy. And now let's say you don't have your US passport, right? You will need to go online and search up DS-11. This is a form that you have to fill out, and you can usually look up areas where you can go and fill it out or do it online, and this will help you to access your passport, so that way you can get that. It's called a DS-11 form, and this is for every single state. It's not just for the state I'm in. It's called a DS-11 form. So now the $1 question: what is the 6-point combo that I need to bring with me to the DMV, so that way they don't send me back home for something that I don't have, or I have to get again and then come back for something else that I don't have, right? I'm gonna give you guys the 6-point ID combo, okay? This is the ultimate one, so simple that you guys can use. So number 1 is going to be your birth certificate. This is going to be worth 4 points, okay? 4 points. This is the biggest and important one. The next one is going to be your school ID with your transcript. Now, if you're an adult and you're a bit older watching this, I assume you have your government issued ID by now, so you can go ahead and use that, and that will be worth 2 points, your school ID or your government issued ID. And yes, for my high schoolers, I will be showing you guys how to get your government issued ID while getting your permit as well together, all in one. The next one will be your social security card / number. Now, you can't just know your social security number off the top of your head. Although that is good, you still will need your physical card present because it has to be a document. Now, the next one will be a proof of address / a bank statement. Now, it is 2025 and hopefully you guys are caught up with technology because this one is going to be a little hack. I don't know about all DMVs, but personally for the one in my area, you are allowed to use Cash App as a personal bank statement and a proof of address together. So if you just have the app on your phone, or you could actually print it out, that can be used as a bank statement and a proof of address. Now I'm going to show you guys how to access that through Cash App in this next clip. So hopefully this far throughout the video, if you're finding it helpful, you can go ahead and drop a like and subscribe because I'm doing basic things that some people didn't learn growing up and that their parents didn't teach them. So yeah, helps a lot. So now that I showed you guys how to pull up your bank statement and your address, proof of address on Cash App, now you're ready to go ahead and go to the DMV. But just to be on the safe side, I say go ahead and find a piece of mail, physical mail that you can use as well as proof of address. Because remember what I said, guys, the DMV is not there to help you, they're there to hurt you. And although you have those 6 points, if you have other stuff such as your passport and other things, it would be best to bring those as well because the DMV is going to try you over every single time. So if you guys pay your phone bill, or if you don't have any bills of your own or any type of mail, now it has to be a first class type of mail. And what I mean is phone bill or any type of first class billing. It can't be where your grandma wrote you a letter and then she wrote your address on it in pen and decided to mail it to you. No, that's not gonna slide. It has to be first class mail, okay? And any type of authorized billing from a high-end company is considered first class mail. So just like this bill I got from T-Mobile for paying my iPad bill, that is considered first class mail, which is authorized to use for proof of address. Now you might be like, okay, well, I got it on Cash App. No, bring everything with you. You gotta be prepared. The DMV is a spiritual warfare. Not joking. So now, once you have all of this, you are ready to go to the DMV. But wait, there's more. Don't go get up and get your clothes now that you have this part of the video done. There is more. Now, I don't know about all DMVs because every state is different. But if your DMV has the option to schedule an appointment online to go inside the DMV, go ahead and make that. Now that you have all that ready, you are now set to go to the DMV. But wait, there is more. Yes, there is absolutely more. Now, I don't know about all states, but for my state, you have to make an appointment to go to the DMV. All states are different. For some DMVs, you can do a walk-in, but let's say your DMV has the option of walk-in and appointment. Just make the appointment, please, I'm telling you. Because you'll now have your 6 points and think, oh yeah, I watched Zeke on YouTube. I'm ready. I am set to go. You'll go to the DMV. Nope, you need an appointment. And they'll send you right back home. So now go ahead and go online and make an appointment. And yes, I'm going to show you guys how to make an appointment for whatever state that you're in, okay? So now on this next screen, I'm on my search engine, right? You're gonna go ahead and type in the abbreviation for whatever state you're in. So let's say I'm in the state of New Jersey, which that's the actual state I'm in. I'm going to type in NJMVC. Now let's say I'm in the state of Arizona, AZMVC. State of New York, yeah, exactly, you got it, NYMVC. And then you got Philadelphia, PAMVC. Or if you want to spell it out all the way, you could just do Philadelphia Motor Vehicle Commission. You can do New York Motor Vehicle Commission and look for one that is nearby. Make sure the area is nearby, make sure it has parking, etc. whatnot, because yes, like I said, guys, the DMV is not here to help you, they're there to hurt you. You will go and park next to a DMV and you will lose your car. And now there are some people that, yes, they do drive illegally and they want to go and get their license and stuff. A heads up that everyone should know, don't park nowhere near the DMV. If you're gonna get an Uber or Lyft, that's one of the best things to do, or if it's in a train or a bus distance. But parking near the DMV, you're losing your car. I am sorry. And guess what that does? You gotta go back to the DMV. So now, once you've typed in your nearest motor vehicle commission in your search engine. You're going to go ahead and click on the website. Now, I'm going to assume that every motor vehicle commission website is the same or at least similar. So now once we're on the website, we're going to go and scroll down. Now you're going to look for something that says schedule an appointment. You see where it says schedule an appointment? Now, once you hover over it, you're going to see a bunch of different ones. You're going to see knowledge test, road test, license transaction, vehicle transaction, mobile unit, and a bunch of different ones, right? We're going to go ahead and press knowledge test. Now, this is because, like I said in the beginning, now you're going to go ahead and press knowledge test. Now, why are we doing knowledge test? Just because, like I said in the beginning, you have studied the driver manual and you know the rules of the road now. Okay? So now since you know the rules of the road, you need to prove that you know it, which is by taking the knowledge test. So now you're going to go ahead, go down. It should say schedule appointments online, make appointment, right? So now you're going to see a bunch of different things on a section right here because it's going to say what service is needed. Appointment type, appointment location, date and time, application information. These are the 4 steps into scheduling your test, right? Now, under that, you're going to see driver's license / non-driver ID, CDL services, road / knowledge test services, title registration, and mobile unit. You're going to click the one that says road / knowledge testing services. Now, once you go down, there's going to be a bunch of different ones as well. And this is where I feel a lot of people go wrong because they don't know what appointment that they're booking for the DMV, and they just book the wrong one thinking that the DMV is just going to be like, oh yeah, you booked the wrong one. We'll let you slide and go in for it today. No, the DMV is not here to help you. They're here to hurt you. So now, once you go down, it should be the first one that says knowledge test and then non-CDL in parentheses. If you don't see that, just scroll down and say it. Don't book for auto test, agricultural road test, moped road test, motorcycle road test, none of those. This is for the knowledge test, non-CDL. You're gonna go ahead and click it, right? Now we should be on step 2, the appointment location. Now for this part, you're gonna see a bunch of different areas. You obviously know where you live and what's closest and what's farthest, so you can go ahead and make your appointment. Now for this part, I say go with the one that's closest and the one that's, has the fastest booking availability. Now with this one, I'd say go with the one that's closest and has the fastest booking availability because, we want to get our license as fast as possible. Let's say we go ahead and press make an appointment, right? It's going to ask you what time of your appointment. So now obviously make sure you do this on a day that you don't have work or that you're able to call out of work or out of school, and then just choose what time works best for you. So let's say we want to go earliest in the morning at 8:15, right? Now it will ask you. Now next it asks for your applicant information, your first and last name, email, phone number, permit / driver's license, non-driver ID, and select the knowledge test. So now for this next part, it does say permit / driver's license / non-driver ID number. Right? For this part, this is where things do get a little bit tricky. So coming back over here on the screen, for me, I don't know about every other state, but for me, in the state of New Jersey, this sounds crazy. You can get your permit before you do your knowledge test. So if you guys don't understand what I mean by that, for the state of New Jersey, before you do the driver manual, which is supposed to be the first thing you do before getting your permit or your license or anything, the first step before going to the DMV, one of the first steps, you can get your permit. And what is a permit? Which a lot of people may not know, so I'm going to explain real quick. This is basically a learner's permission to drive with an adult or guardian individual in the vehicle that is over the age of 18 and has their own license. They don't really have to have a license, but they have to be a legal adult, a legal and an adult, okay? So now, what they're saying is that you can have your permit and drive before you do your knowledge test, which makes no sense. But here's the thing with that. You might be thinking, oh, so I don't have to know the rules of the road. I could just get my permit, then get my license. No, because the knowledge test, which is a test you have to take for the driver manual, which you studied, and the permit, which basically allows you to drive with an adult in the vehicle, they go hand in hand. So you cannot get your license if you don't have your test and the permit together hand in hand and they're both valid. You are not able to get your license if those two aren't hand in hand together. You can't just have one and not have the other. So you have to have it together. But for the state of New Jersey, supposedly you can get your permit and then do your knowledge test after. And they wonder why you have so many accidents. But now, getting into this next part, going back to the screen, right? Permit slash driver's license slash non-driver ID number. This one, you can just put your parents or relatives or anyone's. It doesn't really matter because we're not here for that. And then again, you don't have one. That's the whole point. You're going to the DMV, you don't have. And you see how it started because it's required. You see what I mean? How inconvenient the DMV is. They're not here to help you. They're here to hurt you. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not for every employee at the DMV. The people that actually there to help at the DMV love y'all. But for the people who But anyways, you're going to go ahead and press submit. Now, after that, you're done. Now, you just got to make sure you study again so your brain doesn't go blank once you take the test. There is a few things to factor, right? One, for your appointment, do not arrive on time. Never, never, never. And everyone that's survived 5 nights at the DMV, you guys know, do not arrive to your appointment on time. Arrive at least 15 to 30 minutes earlier before your appointment. Why? It's the DMV. You think you're the only person going through this problem? There's about 8 billion people living on this green, beautiful earth that God has made. And about 10% of them are going through this problem, okay? And there's more people every day that has to go through it. Alright, so not only that, but the lines will be long. It is the DMV. The lines are long, especially for all my Brooklyn people and the people that live in the 5 boroughs of New York. Y'all know what's up. The DMV lines be mad long. So make sure you come to your appointment early. Now, once you're in line, there's going to be a little receptionist area. Just go in the line between the dividers. And then once you go into the DMV, you're going to say, I have an appointment for my knowledge test, right? Then that's where they're going to ask you for your 6 points. Bing, bam, boom. They're going to ask you for your 6 points. Then they're going to ask you to fill out a little box sheet as well. Now, they're going to give you a ticket. Take out your headphones to turn your phone off. Don't turn it off all the way, but, put it down. And make sure you look out for your ticket number. Because if you miss your ticket number, your SOL, if you know what that means. And you basically got to wait a whole extra 30 minutes is me being generous. A whole nother hour till your number is called again. Or they might not even call your number. So go ahead. Once you fill out the box, they're going to send you to another receptionist desk, right? And that next receptionist desk, that's where they're going to ask for your 6 points. So the first desk is where you're going to get your ticket, right? They're going to give you a little slip. It's going to have a bunch of boxes on it. That's where you're going to put your first and last name, your date of birth, your social security, etc. and whatnot. Right now, they're going to send you into another receptionist desk. Once you go over there, that's when your 6 points are needed. So make sure you have your 6 points in a little folder or somewhere enclosed, like a little sealed notebook or something, an envelope, anything. And just make sure you don't lose it, because that is real personal documents of identification that you cannot lose. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and give that to the receptionist. They're going to do what they have to do. Then they'll give you another ticket, right? Once they do that, now every DMV is different. They'll either send you back, or if not, they'll make you sit down and wait to take your knowledge test, right? Now you get ready to take your knowledge test, right? This part I can't really help you guys out with. Hopefully you guys study. Hopefully you guys know what to do and you get all the questions right. I can help out a little bit before your knowledge test as well. When doing the knowledge test, here is the trick to pass. And it's not a slick trick like slipping a paper under your hand or writing on your fingers. No, there's actually a trick to pass, especially if, to my people who took in the knowledge test multiple times and failed, there is a trick to pass. I am going to leave a free website down below that you can use to practice for your knowledge test, and it gives you a score. Because look, each knowledge test is about 50 questions, and out of the 50 questions you have to at least get 40 correct in order to pass, and then you can get your permit. For the state of New Jersey, you could get your permit before you even know the rules of the road. But now for the test, right? Here's the trick. Any question you do not know, just skip it. Just skip it. You are more likely to get the questions that you know correct, and then it's a psychological thing. Your brain, once you skip past the questions that you don't know and you do all the ones that you know, your brain will slowly retract the questions that you didn't know, and you'll be more likely to get the answer correct. And this works with me because I've done it firsthand before, and I've failed the test more than once. Okay, well, I haven't failed the test more than once. I failed it once, but after that I've used that trick and it's worked for me and for other people as well. So skip the questions that you don't know and go ahead, and once you get to the questions that you don't know, use process of elimination. Usually it's pretty simple, but if you study, you shouldn't be failing at all. And if you do fail, just try and remember the questions that you got wrong, so that way you could go back, study it, and get it right the next time. Okay, so boom, knees weak, palms are heavy. Hopefully just not vomit on your shirt already, but your palms are sweaty and you passed the knowledge test. Congratulations, you know the rules of the road, and we are making driving safe for everybody. Right now, once you pass, you're gonna go back to the receptionist that told you where to sit in your designated area to take your test. Right, they're gonna ask for your 6 points and everything, blah blah blah, and they're gonna do what they have to do on their side of the system. Right, this part I want you guys to really pay attention on, because this is where my DMV went wrong with me. You guys to go through it, okay? Once they go through everything, now look. You guys have to make it make sense. You guys took the knowledge test, so you guys know the rules of the road, right? You guys took the knowledge test, and you know the rules of the road, and you passed the test, right? So this means you can get your permit, which means you can drive with an adult in the vehicle that is present. When they're doing this, they have to hand you your permit because you've passed the knowledge test. Do not leave that DMV thinking, oh, I passed the knowledge test. Okay, I'm good. Let me leave. No. You need the certificate to prove that you've done what you did and you studied and put in the hard work. So now you're going to go and get your permit, right? Here are a few things to look out for. One, make sure you do your eye test, because sometimes they will not ask you, and if that is not written on the permit, it's not valid. Once you get pulled over, whoop whoop, you're cooked. Okay, so if they don't ask, they should make you do it, but make sure they do the eye test, right? Not only that, now this is where it went wrong with me. I'm gonna do a little long story short so you guys can listen in real quick. Like I said, for my school, which is how I got this book, they let us take the 6-hour knowledge class, the driver manual, with our school. It was a course that I took within school, right? Now, also with our school, I don't know if they're partnered with, but our school was eligible to have us take the knowledge test at our school, so that way we didn't have to go to the DMV, which I just explained, and take the test. We were just able to do it in school. We come to school, when the time comes, we take it. And it was for the state of New Jersey, the NJMVC knowledge test. We took it, right? I passed it. Now, I know I'm kind of going off and long with the story, but here's another thing to keep in mind. From the day that you take your knowledge test, you have 2 years to get your license before it expires, which is more than enough time, okay? Now, with me, I was BSing and lollygagging a little bit, but I did end up going to get my license from the DMV, right? So now, also, once you pass the test, it sends you a transcript to your email that you've passed. So I took it to the DMV, right? I got it. They gave me my permit. Now, here's where things went wrong. Because the DMV is just messed up, okay? I don't even want to go through the story because it just pisses me off, so I'm gonna make it a long story short. They didn't stamp my DMV permit, and I was not eligible to drive because they didn't put none of the certifications on it. They just handed me, all in all, a blank permit with my name on it. Alright, so now I'm over here openly mindedly thinking, oh, okay, well, the DMV gave it to me, so I'm good to drive. They did what they had to do. No, this is why I say check before you leave the DMV. Check everything and make sure it's good, because what do I always say? What I've been saying for the past 30 minutes of the video. DMV is here to hurt you, not help you. Okay, I take my 6-hour class for driving, right? They say my permit isn't valid. I'm like, okay. They say I just need a stamp. I'm like, all right, I'll just go to the DMV and get my permit stamped so that way I can get back to driving. Maybe they forgot to just stamp it, right? I go to the DMV. By the time I get back there, it's already been the 2 years. So they're like, oh yeah, it expired. So now I hope you guys are understanding this. I done it in January and my permit expired in April, right? I got my permit in January, which means I was good to drive since January, and then I practice and then take my road test, get my license, right? Because the DMV didn't stamp it, and by the time I went back to go get it stamped, my test had expired. So now they're saying we can't stamp it for you. So then I'm like, hold on. You're telling me I gotta redo everything that I just explained in this video because you guys didn't stamp it? So because I don't want you guys to go through this, make sure to do everything. Because listen, when you take the knowledge test, that indicates that you have passed and you're eligible to get your permit. You're able, completely able to get your permit. That's what that indicates. If not, no. Oh, you passed. You're still in. No. You're eligible. You're eligible to get your permit. Okay. Boom. Once you do that, there's gonna be a few things to look out for with your permit. So now I do have my permit here. What you're going to need, I'm going to try and blur it out. What you're going to need is this right here. You guys see this? Once you guys finish your knowledge test and they hand you your permit paper, make sure you have this sticker with the stamp date on the back. Do not leave the DMV if they don't give you this, okay? Do not leave the DMV if they do not give you this. Because this indicates that you passed and that you're eligible to drive, alright? And now there are a few other things to look at. I can't really show you guys here, but on your permit is going to be a few different things, right? On the middle right side of the paper is going to say knowledge test. Make sure it says pass and has a stamp date of when you passed. Then towards the bottom left of your permit paper is going to say vision, right? You're going to see under vision it says WOG and WG, right? WOG means without glasses, which is the vision test where they make you look in a little machine and read the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? If you took it with glasses, they'll circle WG. If you took it without glasses, they'll circle WOG. Then they'll have your numbers written on it, okay? Now, if you go towards the middle of the paper, let me see if I can focus. Middle of the paper, right here. Let me see if I can. So, I don't know if you guys can see this, right? But on this paper, it says not valid until stamped on the other side. Then we have this little CDL stamp right here that's kind of fading, right? Make sure you get that stamp in the front. Now I'm going to read it. It says not valid for practice driving until officially stamped on reverse side. This means you cannot drive if you only have the stamp on one side. So what does that mean? If the DMV person forgets to stamp it, you can't drive until the other side is stamped, because when you get pulled over, that's what the police is going to look at. So you have to make sure the receptionist at the DMV stamps it on both sides, and make sure you have the sticker. Every state is different. I don't know if they have a sticker for every other state, but for my state they have the stamp and the sticker, but I'm guessing the stamp is universal. Make sure they stamp it. All right, guys, now the hard part is done, but wait, there's more. Before you leave the DMV, here is the bonus. You are going to get your non-driver's license ID, which is your government issued ID. Okay, so now you're gonna tell the receptionist, hey, I want to get my government issued ID while I'm here and I have my 6 points with me. Most likely they will say yes and they will be lenient. If not, just go to a different receptionist. Like, just walk up to them and they'll usually do it, because you already got what you done needed. Right now it's time to abuse your free will after the whole hardship that they made you go through. Okay, now you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna say, yeah, I want to get my government issued ID. Okay, so now once you do that, they're just gonna ask for 6 points. If anything, they might just make you go back in line and give you another ticket. That's better than leaving the DMV and then having to go back again, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Now, just make sure you're prepared. Make sure you look good for your photo and whatever. Make sure you can want to look happy. If you don't care, you don't care, right? There's really nothing much to it. You just give them your 6 points. They're gonna do what they have to do in their system, and they're gonna tell you, okay, stand back here, look at the camera. They'll take your pictures. Boom, right? The last step to do, once you get your ID and your permit, make sure you have money with you. I'm going to say every state is different. Have $50 minimum in cash or Apple Pay. Apple Pay meaning card. So make sure you have $50 card or cash with you. Now, what is the $50 for? Because we live in America, you have to pay for your permit. And the permit, I think, was about $30. Then to get your ID, I think it was about maybe another $20, right? So I don't know how it is for each state, but I'd say have at least $50 to $60 on you minimum. Actually, maximum. Yeah, that it shouldn't be no more than that. Have at least $50 max with you, okay? Because you have to pay for your permit and for your ID. So once you finish, you're gonna have to pay for your permit. It should be from anywhere from $30 to $40. Then your government issue ID, maybe $20, $25, $27. Who knows, right? But make sure you have money on hand. which is why I say watch through this whole video before you end up going and take notes. Okay, so now once you do that, you walk out the DMV with your non-government so now once you're done with that, you walk out of the DMV with your government issued ID and your permit. So now you're able to legally identify yourself, whether it be going to the store and you want to buy something, they ask for ID, or even with one thing that I've seen, when you go to deposit money on your card through physical cash, if it's over $300, they usually ask for your ID. And that is one problem I've had. I've had like 500 in cash and I want to put it on my bank account, and then they have the new little system where you can use your barcode and then they scan it, you get the cash, and it goes in your bank account, right? I heard that the new law is if you're doing over 300 or 200 in cash, you need to have your ID, like your actual state ID with you. So that's one beneficial thing, and there's a bunch of different beneficial things that it could be used for. That's just one of them. So you have your ID, and now you walk out with your permit, which means you're able to drive. Now breathe, because the hard part is done. The hard part is done, so now you can breathe. Now the next part is pretty simple, which I don't have to go deep into. Now you're gonna go online and look up 6-hour classes near me. If you're lucky enough and have a family member that's willing to teach you how to drive, you're good. You can skip this whole part I'm about to say. Go back to the DMV. Hopefully you know how to work the website now that I showed you guys. And you're gonna go and schedule for your road test, right? Schedule for your road test, pass, you got your license, done. You've completed one of the first difficult steps to life, okay? All by yourself. And mind you, you can do this all by yourself, whether you're 16, 17. I've done this by myself without having my parents in the DMV once, okay? So now, boom. You're gonna go home. You're gonna go online, search up some 6-hour classes near you, and you're gonna book with them, right? Now, some 6-hour classes are different. Some of them are slick under the table where it can make you do the whole 6 hours in a day and then you're done. But I don't think nobody's driving for 6 hours. But there are certain schools, not gonna say, but there are certain schools to where you can go and they make you do 3 hours every day, and it has to add up to a total of 6 hours of practice driving. So you can do 3 hours one day, 3 hours another day, then you go and take your road test. But the best and safest way I would say to actually get down pack of how to drive and learn the rules of the road, and you know how crazy drivers are, do an hour lesson per day. So that way you have 6 days of driving and you do an hour every single day, so that way you really get the feel of how it is to drive a car, etc. and whatnot, right? So once you do that, then usually the driving school will help you with scheduling for your road test. If not, you just do the same thing like I said before, your state initials, MVC, go online, then you schedule for your road test. You schedule for it, then they'll ask you for your ID. Right now, that is one thing that people struggle to find. So on your permit, right, your permit that you have, you're gonna look at the top left of your permit paper, right? It should say, it should have a bunch of numbers, then under it should say examination permit, right? It should be a bunch of letters then numbers. That is going to be your driver's license ID / permit number, examination permit number, okay? That is what you're going to use when you're scheduling for your road test. So it should be a bunch of letters and numbers, then right under it should be your name, right? Those letters and numbers is what you're going to use on the DMV website, okay? And that is one thing that a lot of people don't say, which is actually key. Because even with the driving school, they might ask you what it is, and then somehow you might even go back to the DMV just to ask them that question. So if you want to know, it's on the top left of your permit paper. Not the top left, but it should be above your name. It should have a few letters and a few numbers in increments of 5. So it should be 15 letters and numbers mixed in a bunch of different orders. A mix of 15 letters and numbers, excuse me. So now, boom, you take your road test. Hopefully you pass and you're done. You no longer need me now. You could go ahead and unsubscribe and unlike the video, because you did it now. You're all grown up. Congratulations. Y'all grow up so fast, man. I'm joking. But yeah, that's gonna be that. Hopefully this video helped. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comment below. I know this video was long, but if you actually watch it, it will be worth it. It will be worth it, I promise you. Thank you guys for watching. All glory goes to the man above. Thank you, Jesus. Wouldn't be here without him. And God, I hope everyone watching this video successfully gets their license. I rebuke every evil force that tries to stop them at the DMV from doing what they want to do, God, and that they may overcome every problem of the DMV. make it out there successfully and triumphantly. In your match's name we pray. Amen. Alright, so that concludes today's video. Please like and subscribe because I will have way more videos coming up, but that is how you survive the Twilight Zone at the DMV, or in other words, you could put 5 nights at the DMV. So, and like I said, not all DMV receptionist people are bad. Some of them are just there to give you a bad day because they had a bad day. Everyone has their bad days, okay? But shout out to the people at the DMV who are willing to help. So thank you guys a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. This video was long. See you in the next.